Beautiful tribe. I hope you're having a great day today. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. And the past week has proved to us that 2025 is indeed going to be a very bumpy road. And we are just less than a week away from the inauguration of the United States' new president. But will it actually happen, friends? That's the big question many people are asking. It should be obvious at this point that there are certain secret societies that aren't so secret that are really willing to do anything to either take out DT completely or to ensure he starts off with so many challenges to conquer as soon as he steps into the White House. But will he conquer? Or will he be conquered? Or will everything collapse under his watch? That's more likely going to be the case, unfortunately. The past week, we've witnessed the absolutely worst wildfires to ever hit California, with images that have literally been buried into our minds forever. Fires that have already claimed at least 24 lives and continue to burn, with higher winds coming in today. So now, so much shadiness, of course, revolved around this event in California. Folks being arrested that were equipped to start fires, allegedly, only to be released. What's that all about, friends? Strange sightings caught flying through the smoke-filled skies? Water hydrants go dry. Doesn't this all sound a bit familiar to you? If we do a flashback back to 2023, will anything actually be done about this? That's the biggest question of all. What's going to happen with these people? The same thing that happened to the poor folks in Lahaina? Practically the entire world knows deep down in their hearts and in their intuition that there is much more behind this apparent attack. There's also maybe a part of another sinister plan that's in the works right now from the same groups of people, actually for California too. So I have some messages, several of them today, and predictions revolved around all this. And I made many different fire warnings, and I was actually searching for the video and videos. I'll talk about that later in today's show. But I made many different fire predictions, including seeing visions of a residential building on fire in New York City, which is also playing out, or was playing out, in the Bronx, New York, at the same time LA was burning. Fires are now seeming to be a new type of mass weapon of some sort, of mass weapon of destruction. Remember that quote back in, when was that, those days? The Bush days? Mass weapons of destruction. And if you think that LA is the last city to burn, think again, friends. Think again. Many are unfortunately going to burn in the future, and they're going to use a lame excuse that they've been using when we know what's really behind the whole thing. And we could potentially pinpoint where the next ones are going to come from. I'll explain how and why today. Also, while poor folks at LA were watching their livelihoods burn to the ground, something else was happening down there to our friends once again in North Carolina. Like they didn't have enough to deal with being washed out of their homes during the summer months from a natural hurricane. So nobody's talking about what's happening there. We're going to talk about it because it's to me, it's something that does fulfill another one of my past visions and predictions. I'll explain that. And something that is going to become, unfortunately, much more common in the future, and you're going to want to know so that you can make sure that you're prepared. We're also about to head in to the Chinese New Year, friends, and it's going to be the Year of the Snake, which is going to ring in on January 29th. And wait until I tell you what has just occurred. Well, not just occurred, what has occurred in past years of the snake. I don't believe in coincidences. And the strong potential, of course, of what we're about to witness in the coming year of the snake. And I also had visions revolved around this snake that you're going to want to hear about today. Perhaps you can actually help me to interpret why Spirit was showing me this vision. I'll give you the details of that vision in today's broadcast. So did Zuckerberg, I almost said Duckerberg, quack, quack. Did Zuckerberg and Bezos change the color of their hats? Or are they just playing the role? Our friends in Japan also were just hit by the earthquake exactly where I pointed on the map in southern Japan. So who could be next when it comes to the big quakes and shakes? And is Japan going to be in for some more? Along with the ones that hit China, Ethiopia, a bunch of other places. It's starting to get real, friends. Very real. Wait until March and April rolls around. The year just literally kicked off. And only 2 weeks into it, and so much craziness and so much more to discuss. And, of course, predictions to feed your prediction addiction on this beautiful day, baby. Yeah. So I will also take you on a venture underground to another underground hidden, but not so hidden, city. In this episode number 149, and y'all know what time it is.
It's Tittle Tea Time, baby.
Beautiful souls, once again, I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, hey, welcome to the channel, baby. We are so glad that you're here. And if you want to vibe with this amazing tribe and you want accurate predictions, prophecy, and truth, be sure to smash that there subscribe, the bell and all, so that you get notifications. Remember to show your love by clicking that thumbs up love button, because it also will show the algorithms that you want more content like this. Not necessarily all from this channel either, but content like it on your feed. It's a great thing to get them algorithms programmed correctly. It also helps our tribe to grow by getting this information out to more people. So thank you for showing your love by clicking that thumbs up button. Also, please be aware that there are imposters, a lot of them all the time, usually Facebook, Twitter, and Facebook, TikTok, and IG, of course, those three. Lately, it's been Facebook. But these imposters stealing my pictures and creating profiles and messaging all my actual followers pretending to be me. That is not me. I say it every week on the show, and a lot of the people that fall for these scams and actually send money to these scammers that are likely in another country like Nigeria don't listen to the show, and they don't reach out or go directly to my website, Spiritman JT or josephtittel.com, to ensure that it's actually me. Because the only way that I take any payments for anything is through my website. And you can only schedule on your own on my website. I will never reach out to you on any social media platform ever. So if you get a message like that, don't email my office. You don't have to let us know. Just report them, please. Just report them. And you can also see, because someone sent me all these emails, took a screenshot of it, and you can see that they just created the profile. Just look at the date of the profile, friends. Go in and look. They only had like 10 followers or something. No, that's definitely not me, friends. Definitely not me. Anyway, moving right along. Also, have some friends from Japan coming to visit. Well, they will be friends soon. They are coming. Very famous podcasters in Japan. Quite popular in Japan, apparently. Even my book was, back in the day, published in Japanese. They're coming. They're going to hang out in Sedona with the Spirit Man, do an interview. Of course, it'll likely be mostly in Japanese with an interpreter. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. And wait until they see how amazing Sedona, Arizona is. And besides that, I'm also venturing on a trip in the near future, too, that I'm also very excited about. I'll surprise you with the video footage from that trip and my experience hanging out with the shamans out there in the jungle and the Amazon jungle, once again, for my second visit. But this time, I'm videotaping it, and I will be hanging out with Shaman Puma, talking to him about future events. So that'll be exciting, but that won't be for a couple months, friends. That'll be months down the road, but something to look forward to. I will, before that, also do a video recording when I get a chance of my first experience without the video footage. The second experience, I'll have a lot more video footage. Other than that, also down below, don't forget to sign up for the free newsletter. You can sign up by opening the newsletter below. Top corner, you can subscribe. That's the best way to subscribe to the newsletter. No other way. And in turn, you will get a confirmation email to confirm your email address. If you don't get that confirmation email and you don't confirm, you're never going to get a newsletter. And even when the newsletter goes out the beginning of the month, make sure you check your spam folder to make sure it don't end up in there. And you can also add newsletter at josephtittel.com to your contact list. Do not use that email because nobody's ever going to see it. We don't even have it hooked up. It's just the email used for the newsletter. But if you put that in your contact information, it'll ensure that you get it. Newsletter, Joseph Tittel, Tittel.com. Let us move on to episode 149, baby. Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time. Yesterday, I put out a video with details of yesterday's full moon in Cancer and the effects that you can expect from the full moon in Cancer. And I was actually looking at two different charts and totally messed up and got my dyslexia screwed up with the Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius, actually. I knew that, too. I don't know what happened yesterday, but the moon is in Cancer, and the effects are going to be interesting and amazing. There's lots of different predictions and how this all aligns perfectly in yesterday's video. So if you missed that, be sure to check it out. And remember, Pluto's in Aquarius, friends. The balancing the Pluto-Aquarian age is basically where we're at right now on the planet. It's going to be amazing. The next 15 years, actually not even the next 15 years, the next 5 years, wow, friends, wow. So I talk about the current alignments and predictions, and I feel that could potentially come into fruition in the next few weeks and the next few months. So again, be sure to check out that video yesterday. Otherwise, we can skip past this week's astrological alignments. Other than I have a reminder for you all that we are in a one universal month in the month of January. So I hope that you are utilizing this energy first by staying grounded. Get that ADHD into check, friends. Leave me know. Being grounded helps with that. Another thing I've been using was methylene blue lately. Interesting. I'll have to get back to you on the results. So far, it seems to be really working well with focus and ADHD symptoms. Something you may look into for your own self. But again, always do your research and always ask your doctor for your doctor's advice. The one universal month that we're in, again, this is a great time for focusing on your vision of the future. All that you're working on, all that you're manifesting into your life right now, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, friends, this is the time. This is the month. The one vibration, which isn't, next year, January will be a 2 vibration. And it'll continue. Actually, next year it'll be a 2 vibration. So we only get this every 9 years. That one vibration at the beginning of the new year. The Gregorian New Year. Because technically, really, the new year is spring when everything comes back to life. So we step into February. We step into the 2 vibration. And that's when you're actually going to be able to get more of a foundation down. More of your blueprint, so to speak, of your future is going to come into focus. And things will start to move much more quickly. So be patient. Work with this energy. Work with the astrological alignments. The 9 year we're in of letting go. And that one vibration. And you will be glad you did. Because this is an amazing, potent time for manifesting things that you never dreamed possible. Remember, the power of your future is in your mind. Oh, it's inauguration time. Well, just days away, less than a week anyway, and less than a week away from the inauguration ceremonies that are happening in Washington, D.C., when DT is supposed to step into the White House. Already, though, that man is blowing that trumpet very, very loudly, stirring things up before he even steps into position. The FBI is already telling us that things are going to be totally secure at the inauguration. But be aware of copycats, they say. Things are going to be secure, but be aware of copycats. How does that make any sense at all? Copycats of what? What are they going to copycat? What are you copycatting? They're 3-letter agencies. If they're worried about a copycat, then it can't technically be secure, right? Because even if there was a copycat and you were secure, the copycat shouldn't be successful. Just saying. There's 3-letter agencies. And although I feel like this inauguration is likely to go off without any interruption, a delay, maybe 2 delays, that's typical for any big event. It's also more the previous day that I'm concerned about. The previous day is more concerning. It is the 19th, 119, 119. Now turn that backwards. Hold it up in the mirror, friends. Hold it up in the mirror. And you know what you got. Just because I say that, because of course the Secret societies love to use numbers. They use astrology. They use it all to their advantage. They know, they follow all this stuff, and they're probably way better at it than anybody else is. Way better at it. So, they use numbers and dates all the time. I think it's kind of more of a silly date. I think if they were really going to use a date, especially the inside attack on America, I would say they would use a day like Memorial Day that's coming up, or the 4th of July that's coming up. Maybe even Easter, because, a lot of it's religious related. So attacks on churches and such around that Easter holiday time. But let us get through the first few months before we even get to Easter. So DT happens to be holding a massive, rally, I believe also in D.C. the night before inauguration on 1/19. Yeah, so that would be where I'd be much more concerned, especially if I was him. Remember, there are forces that very much wish to prevent this inauguration from happening. So doing so would make more sense a day or a few days prior to the actual date. 19th would even make more sense the day before. So he's also trying to, of course, as you know, acquire or purchase Greenland, which is owned by, Denmark? Not Denmark. I just drew a blank. Doesn't matter. He's still trying to do it. Man, he's really ruffling feathers, a lot of them. And he also smiles when he says he wants to make Canada the 51st state of the United States. Now, this is where I thought when he said that, the first thing that popped in my mind when I heard him say that was back in, I'm pretty sure 2020 was the year, where I did video and even showed you a map of a potential future North America, not United States, North America. And I saw it broke up into 7 different unions. And I don't know if they're called unions, but I saw it broken up. We can even say states. But they felt more like separate unions, almost like little separate countries all throughout, but all connected to one big union like the United States. So, as crazy as it sounds, even to our friends in Canada, don't be surprised. Remember, it's all part of what the globalists want. And they don't want borders. They don't want separation of countries. They want us all to be one world order, one big old happy group of people. The only ones that are really going to be happy, of course, are the puppeteers at the top of the level. And they're pushing hard. They're pushing very, very hard for this. The biggest issue that he's going to face is actually going to be against the cartel. It's been in past predictions going back a few years. Some predictions take 3 years to come into fruition, or a few years. It varies. And he is a bandit, DT. And he's going to go after them. He's going to go after them, and he's going to go after them very well. I also saw and shared again in past visions and predictions that there was going to be these future cartel wars, even down along the borders in the southern borders. So, by the way, the cartel aren't just in the southern border either. They're also up there in the northern border, because it's even easier for them to get through on the northern borders than it is for the southern border. See, because we're watching the southern border. Nobody's really talking about the northern border up along Canada and such. And they have big, I don't know what you call it, little spots. They got spots set up all along the northern borders, is what Spirit showed me. And they're also coming into the northern states through New Hampshire and even Washington State from Canada, coming across those borders. So this truth is going to be revealed. This truth is going to be revealed when the cartel hits DT directly in some way. I don't know why or how. And that's when he's going to go on a vengeance to take out the cartel families. This is likely not going to play out fully for probably a couple years. I would expect some of that we should see signs of this soon as, within this year, 2025. Remember, it is endings and such. 2025 would be a perfect year to take out evil, take out corruption, take out groups like cartel. Perfect year, because the 9's all about endings, death of cycles. Get rid of them. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. But he needs to move fast. He also wants the Panama Canal, which was built, of course, with help from our military, not China, even though China is controlling it or trying to control it now. And this concerns me only due to a past prediction that I had maybe about a year or a little over a year ago, where I saw conflict occurring around the Panama Canal. I also saw other issues with the Panama Canal, like I wouldn't say necessarily sabotage, although it could be. but boats not getting through. I thought more likely drought related in the future, where the boats aren't getting through. And they have to reconstruct something. And I do see them reconstructing something different alongside of the current Panama Canal. Interesting. Spirit just showed me that vision now. And this whole thing with the Panama Canal makes my past prediction look very plausible and very, very likely, actually. DT's also is certainly going to blow the trumpet even harder when it comes to these corruptions, shady business practices, and shady government corruption. I think it would be great if we could suddenly, I think it would be awesome, suddenly last minute changes happen for the inauguration. This could be actually beneficial. Last minute changes, and he does it differently for once than it's been done since the existence, I guess, of the United States, or at least Washington, D.C. Promising, but likely doubtful. DT needs extremely high security from this point now moving forward. And so does his family as well, not just him, his family. Because when they can't get you, especially cartels, who do they go after? The ones you love most. And I saw in the past and see some type of incident, perhaps an attack or even an accident, as I saw again in past predictions, on a DT family member. I'm not sure which one. I think it might be Ivanka, actually. And I see the same thing happening around Elon Musk. An attack on him and perhaps an attack on one of his family members as well. When they fail to touch them, again, who they want, they'll just go after the family instead. Which is just demented. It's all pretty demented. Let us move on. Inauguration will be interesting. It'll be even more interesting what happens after he's inaugurated and all the executive orders that he signs and everything else. And it's also interesting. Well, let us move on to our next topic. Sadly, we continue to see the California fires burning while new fires are continuing to suddenly ignite. And I have to be very careful what I say here, friends. Very, very much so. Because I did a video last week about the whole fires in California, and I did a live video. And, of course, you know what they do when they don't want your content to be seen by many other people. They take away your ability to profit from it. And in turn, that also takes it away from being shown on people's feeds. And I find it to be extremely unfair, being that there's hundreds of others talking about it, and they're allowed to. But for some reason, when we here at the tribe address certain things, we get pushed into the back of the line. We waited all that time in line, and then we get put back to the back of the line. Not fair at all. So this past week, we have witnessed unfortunate, most absolute worst wildfires to ever hit California, with images that have literally been burned into our minds forever. Fires that have already claimed at least 24 lives and continue to burn, with higher winds coming in again today. So much shadiness around this event. So much. And you'll all agree, because this is really waking people up, this one. Lahaina helped to wake people up, but this is really waking people up. More so. And that's what's going to happen, friends. Big events like this are going to play out to awaken people to what's really happening, to the corruption and all the shadiness. And folks are being arrested, equipped to start fires, allegedly, only to be released. Strange sightings and things. Craziness. And of course, as you know, folks immediately, not immediately, their insurance policies were canceled. And of course, the first thing people would want to do is blame very rich insurance companies. Of course they do. But think about this for a minute, friends. The insurance companies warned the people. They warned us. They warned us by doing that because they are on top of things. Insurance companies know. They had to have their own research teams and everything else. And they saw the cracks in the system. They warned people simply by canceling their policies. But the problem is why was nobody listening? Nobody talking about it. I know they started doing that up here, and we're listening, and we're talking about it. We're discussing it. It's obviously a combination of government mismanagement along with this UN agenda to build these smart prisons, as I would rather refer to them, So it's really not the insurance companies that are the actual villains in this particular case. They tried to alert people, if you really think about it. It's obviously, again, a combination of this mismanagement and this agenda, this very underlined agenda that if you do your research, you'll find the paperwork on it, the discussions on it with the WEF and everyone else that's hooked up to that web of darkness. Remember back during the Lahaina fires? I clearly stated that we needed to check the lists for these so-called smart city applications. And we found one for Lahaina. And of course, yeah, there's one for LA too. A plan they wish to launch and build before 2028. Why? Well, because they're hosting the 2028 Olympics, which are, again, going to be held in LA. How convenient. Now they can just start all over again. Now, if you think this is all conspiracy, check out Smart LA 2028. And check this out, too.
As a 3-time United States Digital City Award winner, the City of Los Angeles has been investing in the infrastructure, the apps, and the data tools to be a globally recognized smart city. But as technology evolves, so our smart city must evolve too. That's why we have developed our Los Angeles Smart City Strategy, known as Smart LA 2028, as a roadmap to the 2028 Summer Olympics. It includes 56 new goals that use technology to transform the way we live, work, and move around LA. Check it out here.
So it's not a conspiracy after all. They had a plan to do this all along, probably longer than we even could imagine. And if you look really deep down the rabbit hole, you'll find how all these people are weaved into that web of darkness. Jeff Bezos and a whole bunch of these high-tech people, even the creator of ChatGPT. Yeah, they're all in on these discussions. And again, to make matters more concerning, this is what Newsom just stated. And I find this to be quite shocking.
The host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing it in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale, we're dealing with the scope of this tragedy and responding to it at scale with efficiency, like the executive order I talked about, time value of delivering projects, addressing building codes, addressing permitting issues, and moving forward to rebuilding and being more resilient.
His humbled position? Oh, please, G. And you think you're Brad Pitt or something. More like an opportunity for Gavin to shine. A shine in the eyes of the globalists is more like it. That's what he's shining, in the eyes of the globalists. A Marshall Plan, he says? Could that be like martial law, maybe? Just the thought. Why are they already talking about rebuilding when the fires are still burning and are about to wipe out more land and more properties? They should be talking about the fires and putting them out and all the mistakes they made in their mismanagement through the government, instead of talking already about rebuilding. And the Olympics, now that just shows very clearly in my mind that this was all just a very, very well orchestrated event. Very well orchestrated. Notice how he mentioned I could never get this word out. Philanthropist. Wait, let me get out. Philanthropy. That word, who says they're one of them, is that, I thought that was Gates' title. Wasn't that Gates' title? The philanthropist? You don't understand what I mean. I got tongue twisted today. I bet that him, Gavin, and Gates are cozying up with each other. Real cozying up with each other. So we are supposed to believe that 3 fires erupted in 3 separate spots simultaneously, friends. Simultaneously in LA. But there's no correlation. Look at this satellite view of these fires igniting, friends. I'm going to play it a few times here and watch. Do you notice how all 3 start simultaneously at the same exact time? No coincidence there, friends. No coincidence there whatsoever. And we're supposed to believe that cutting off water to firefighters is normal. That's not normal. Cutting $17 million from firefighters' budgets is normal. Nah, that's not normal. While we're also supposed to believe insurance companies had no clue ahead of time the coming event. Of course they do. They have experts and stuff. We just talked about that. Even though they, again, canceled fires and canceled fire policies and nobody seemed to be listening. Top this off by them wanting us to believe that a large water reservoir was emptied out just prior to the fires simply for repairs. Come on, people. If you're going to do repairs, you have backup no matter what. Why don't they have big water towers all over? The big water towers, gravity-fed water towers? They should have them all over. And they should probably paint them blue. They should have them all over. Speaking of painting, we were going to paint the house a nice green. But I'm changing my mind, and I think I'm going to go with blue. I'd paint my roof blue too, friends. But, HOA would have a conniption if I did that. But I'm thinking about getting some blue tarps, enough to cover the roof, just in case. And if you don't know about the blue thing, do your own research on that. We're going to skip on past that. We talked about that in 2023 after the line. So top this off again. The water reservoir is going bad, needed repairs. Come on, people. Really. They truly think that we are less than smart. They really do. They think that we are less than smart enough to actually see what's really happening. Using the shifting climates, of course, as an excuse to pose conflict against their own people. Us. Crazy. There's other very strange things that have been caught on film, including this here alleged arsonist. Residents called the police on this guy when they saw this man running around with a blowtorch setting fire to trash cans and other things. Police arrived. They arrested him, and shortly after he was released with claims that he was no risk. WTH. WTF, friends. Seriously. And that's not the only case, friends. That's just the one little video piece that we have. There's many others that have been reported. And now, check out this footage. This footage here, caught on a traffic camera. I'll show it a few times. Traffic camera. A few times. Watch this really closely, and you can clearly notice what appears to be a ball of fire or light heading right into the fire-stricken area. What the heck was that, friends? What was that? It gets even stranger. Of course it does. Of course it gets stranger. It gets stranger because this comes from our live news feed discussing the fires. And look at the streaks right here that go across the sky. Right? That's crazy. So fast that it couldn't be a chopper or an aeroplane. Now, I don't know what it is, but it's not normal, and nothing that we have that we know of has that speed and that ability. It gets even better. Of course it does. This is a view from a different person, completely different person. Check it out. There's two of them that look how fast they go. Look at the sharp, fast turns as they loop around and come back again. Of course, people will be like, that's sped up film, or people will make up all kinds of stuff. Caught. Two separate people, one of the same lights caught by one person, and then the two lights caught in the same skies by a different person. So there was also these loud explosions.
Okay, I think we're good there. Oh my God, did you guys hear that?
And to be fair here, those loud explosions could very well be people that have propane tanks. There's a lot of rural areas up there, and they probably don't have gas. And if they do have gas, they have propane tanks. So loud explosions, I would say, were probably propane tanks exploding. And God only knows what else. Chemicals and all kinds of things. Remember that video I showed you, the fire coming out of the sky? Someone actually tuned in and let us know what that was. A firefighter, actually. The chemicals, the vapors and all go up into the sky, and they sit in the clouds, and then eventually they can ignite on fire. So that's what that was. Thank you for whoever put that comment in and educated us on that. It's good to know. I like to be educated about new things because that was pretty wild. I never saw anything like that in my entire life. So before the fires ignited, YouTuber Into Thin Air, we've talked about them before, posted this strange anomaly showing up on radar just before the fires broke out. Check this out and let me know down below in the comments what you think about all of this.
These fires are going on in Southern California. They are laying something over Area 51. It's then being shot by the NextRad radar system. You can see that clear as day right here. It is then expanding and being dropped right over Southern California. And then take a look at what happens to Area 51. This is totally insane. This is not normal, and this is not birds or bugs. I can promise you that. There is something very odd going on with the military or something that's taking place in Area 51 and then being dropped in the sky, which is then carried over by the jet stream or some sort of wind pattern into Southern California. I talked about this yesterday when we predicted these wildfires based on a northwest anomaly that we saw, again from the NextRad radar system, which then led to insane wildfires in Ventura County. Now we are seeing more and more of this being dumped over Area 51 and then flows into Southern California. What is going on here? And then look at how the NextRad towers go absolutely berserk. There is no chance that this isn't related, my friends. This is now 2 days in a row we have captured this happening over Area 51 and flowing down into Southern California, exactly where these wildfires are. And I know a lot of people will give us a hard time for talking about this, but how can you not? This is not a coincidence whatsoever, and I'm going to continue digging into this to see exactly how long they continue this for. If you look close enough, you can find stuff like this every day on these satellite charts.
There is also some talk and whispers around this woman here. This woman here, I forget exactly who she is. Maybe someone, again, will fill us in the comments below. I forget what her name is and what her position is. And she was talking about the fires when folks suddenly noticed something that appeared strange around her neck. Check it out. Now, see the pendant, the upside-down necklace. Many are making assumptions, interesting enough. Back in 2020, if you remember, we talked about this because we saw Melinda Gates wearing the same exact pendant. And we know that Gates is not for the good of all, or Christian at all, religious. Religious would be the word. But this woman now, she actually could be religious. She actually could be Catholic or really Christian, and she's honoring St. Peter. Because she actually doesn't give me the weebie-jeebies like Melinda Gates does. So that's what I think we have here. You know, people like to jump to assumptions, and we should actually reach out and ask the lady. If you tell me her name, I could look her up, and if it shows that she's Catholic and religious, then we know it's St. Peter's Cross. But even still, you know, if that would be the last thing I ever put around my neck. I'd rather have the upward cross around my neck or the crucifix around my neck, thank you, not something upside down. Because people don't always know about St. Peter, and they don't know about the whole thing, and they automatically assume. So instead of letting people assume, just wear something else. Honor Jesus himself instead. That's what I say. Honor Jesus instead. And apparently California made out-of-state firefighters that were coming to help stop in Sacramento. to get emissions testing. Emissions testing. When they're heading to a city that's filled with smoke. Do you really think the emissions of a fire truck is going to matter? No, the fire truck matters because it needs to put out the fire. So basically, stopping some of them that failed the test from being able to get through. Not cool. What is cool that I thought was pretty cool was Mexico sending out a whole team of firefighters and equipment. I find that to be amazing. And, people always, especially DT did, look down on Mexico or the Mexican people. I find Mexican people to be pretty freaking awesome, actually. And damn good hard workers. There's just good people and bad people. It doesn't matter where. What it is with Mexico is kind of like every other country. It's not the people. It's the governments and the corrupt governments that give the good people a bad rap. That's what it is. Just like Americans have a bad rap. But it's not the Americans, it's our governments. They're the ones. So thank you to our friends in Mexico for sending your firefighters. You are so greatly appreciated. Now, going back to the State Farm was the one that pulled policies 2 weeks ago. I thought it was really interesting that the whole fire thing caused the Rams game to get canceled. And then the Rams, in turn, are going to travel to Arizona here in Arizona and play at the stadium that just so happens to be sponsored by State Farm. No coincidences there. So who will get more advertising and more money? State Farm. You just can't make this crap up, friends. You just can't make this crap up. Moving on to the same topic, but the next topic, New York City. I made many fire predictions. One was for New York City, seeing residential building on fire was actually playing out in the Bronx while LA was burning. Fires are basically the new mass weapon of destruction, and what they use, I'm not even going to say it, but you will very well know. And if you think LA is the last city to burn, think again. Friends in Palm Springs, big warning for you. Palm Springs, Northern California as well. Two areas that jumped out at me very, very strongly. This is, again, this UN WEF planned agenda to turn our cities basically into these prisons where you need a social credit score to determine whether or not you will have the ability to even come out of your little neighborhood. Everything within 15 minutes. That's why they call them 15-minute cities. I'm sorry. I want to be able to walk a couple hours and hike a couple hours, not 15 minutes. I don't want to walk around in circles. And I don't want to live in a city. I will not live in a city at all, period. I like living out here in the woods with the animals. That's what I prefer. Also, again, it will take away your ability to even eat things like meat. And that's not a conspiracy anymore. That's happening in China with their social credit score systems. And they are building their cities. They already have them over there in China. Remember what Klaus Schwab said. China is the inspiration for the world. Yeah. I worry for Northern California. And again, also Palm Springs. The globalists have their eyes on Palm Springs right now. I don't know if that's on the list for smart cities. Someone can confirm that. I didn't pull up a list. I forgot. I meant to do that, and I just didn't have time. Long show already today. I'll look it up, though, later on today and see what I get vibe-wise. And if this could happen again, like what's happening in Lahaina and LA and other places like Palm Springs, Northern California. And I mean, they want the whole upper part of Northern California, according to Spirit. That whole upper part, they want that whole part. They being the evildoers. Because someone's going to say, who's they? Yeah, they. We don't even know who all of they are. We know who some of they are, but we don't know them all. So beware. Again, I'll look into more of this later, but beware to our friends in Palm Springs, Northern California, and Washington State, between Washington State and Canada. Now, that same area in Washington State and Canada is where I was getting the earthquake vibe, and then it happened. So that'd be interesting because, they could do things not just with big fires. They can make other things happen, too. We know. I showed you the patents on the technologies. Next, the globalists are going to end up cloud seeding because, they stopped cloud seeding in California. They were cloud seeding. Remember all them floods and that big jet stream that came in that flooded everything? Yeah, they cloud seeded that particular storm. And look what happened. Then they stopped cloud seeding and everything dried up, and drifted away, making it very, very fire-prone areas. So now you watch, given a month or two, let things blow by a little bit, and then they're going to cloud seed again on purpose. That's going to bring about major flooding. Not just to the fire-prone areas, but all over California. I see visions of flooded streets, mudslides, and so on. I'm thinking March, April, because I picked 3 months a year that I feel are going to be the most intense. March is the first one. July is the second one. November is the third one. I said that last year. I forget what months I picked last year, but it was pretty accurate as far as intensity, energy-wise. So they're the intense periods. So I'm going to say March. Likely March is when they're going to see this. And I also had a vision of the side of a mountain literally falling, taking out more than one road with it. And again, I expect this around spring, March, April. Now let's talk shortages. Because also, while LA was burning, something else was actually happening. Something else was happening in North Carolina, once again, that no one seems to be really talking about. Something that fulfills one of my other past visions and predictions. Something that's going to become, unfortunately, a much more common. And that's why we have to really prepare with certain things. Remember my visions of large lines of vehicles attempting to fill up their gas and propane tanks? Well, look right here. These are the lines in North Carolina. These folks waited patiently for hours in hopes to get propane fuel for heat. Due to the plunging cold temperatures, speaking of which, friends, be prepared. I told you it was going to be a cold winter, a bad winter in most parts. Right here in Arizona, it's been mild. We have had no precipitation in a long time, which is very odd for here. Usually we got snow on the ground by now. Flagstaff's usually covered in snow, no snow. But it'll come. I have no doubt it'll come soon enough. And the cold temperatures plummeting, that's why these poor folks had to wait in line so long for propane. Now, I saw those visions, and remember when I saw those visions, it reminded me of the 70s. Back in the 70s, I remember seeing that when I was a little kid. You know, driving and seeing everybody lined up at the gas station. I remember that I was really little. That was the early 70s, maybe 5 years old, maybe I was, something like that. I just remember, maybe even 4 years old, but I do remember very clearly. So I see this strongly occurring overseas when it comes to people lining up because fuel resources are going to get cut off, likely due to conflict and sabotage. And then we're going to see fuel prices skyrocket, just like everything else on this planet. I see coming shortages in computer chips, and many new big pharma drug shortages are going to take hold in late 2025, moving into 2026. In places such as India, there's going to be many coming shortages of grains and rice in parts of Asia, mainly which is going to be caused from flooding and major drought in many parts that's coming, especially as we step into the late part of this year into 2026. That's another thing, shortages. I'm going down to Mexico myself and stocking up on anything and everything I could think of that you could need, antibiotics, what have you. It's about 4.5 hour drive from here to Yuma, Arizona. I know my friends, my older friends in Arizona go there to get their dental work done, their eyeglasses, everything. The little town right across the border. You know, like for example, it might cost me, say, $3,000, $4,000 to have my teeth done in there and done well because they want you to come back. Here, probably costs $12,000 to $15,000. It's worth the trip, in my opinion. I have vision of acres and acres of farmland completely underwater. I saw a vision of farm animals fleeing to higher ground onto these little hills there. This looks like the land completely turned to sea. It's really weird. And I don't know where I'm at. I don't think I'm in the United States. I think I might be over near, say, Holland, up in that area of the globe, those parts of Europe, somewhere over there. And I do believe that this could be a combination of two things. Flooding and rains, of course, and the melting snows. Also, potentially the way it was looked more flooded than it should have been. It just looked like land turned to sea with a few little islands with animals standing on it. I'm thinking a dam break. Oh, damn. I'm thinking a dam break. In the floods, too. That makes all that water go into that area. So prayers to those folks. And prayers to the world, because the Chinese New Year is about to ring in, and we're going to head into the Chinese Year of the Snake, friends. It rings in on January 29th. And wait till I tell you what occurred in the last snake cycles. Some of the last snake cycles. So going all the way back to 1917, that was the year of the snake. You know what happened in that year? WW1. Then 1929 was the next year of the snake. That was the Great Depression. 1941, that was the attack on Pearl Harbor and everything else that played out after. 1953, that was the Korean War was happening during that time period. A war, that conflict that my grandfather fought in. 1965, that was the year of Malcolm X and the escalation of the Vietnam conflict. 1977 was another one. I don't know what happened that year. There was a couple others I wasn't sure. 1977, I didn't know what happened then. Gas shortages, maybe? No, I don't know. 1989, wasn't 1989 when Reagan was pow-powed? No, I was in high school, so maybe that was 1986 or 7. So I don't know what happened those 2 years of the snake. Maybe I'm sure someone will say it in the comments. 1977, 1989. Then we had the year of the snake in 2001. We all know what happened in 2001 on that September date that led into a major decades-long conflict in the Middle East. And then there was another one in 2013. I couldn't remember what happened specifically in 2013. I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments. So it was just those 3 years that I wasn't sure of, but all the rest of them, those last years of the snake, were intense, especially, for United States specifically. So there's no doubt we have some kind of conflict and maybe even a depression of some sort coming. Remember my visions of seeing people lined up for food and water. I do believe that's over in Europe. I remember those visions. It felt like a depression. I saw visions, flashbacks to the depression. Like black and white photos when Spirit showed me that a few years back. That's why Spirit's been telling us, stock up on food, stock up on stuff. I wish I had actually a container to put it all in, somewhere to store it. I also see a vision. This was really weird, friends. I saw this vision of a flag. You know what flag I saw? The flag that says, "Don't tread on me." That flag, "Don't tread on me." And Spirit showed me a vision. This was this morning, actually, of that flag flying. But why? The "Don't tread on me" is the snake coiled up. It was actually designed in 1775 by Christopher Gadsden, a general in the Continental Army. He designed the flag during the American Revolution. The snake rattle had 13 rims. There's that 13 number. Rattlesnakes represent the 13 colonies. So why would Spirit show me this? Anybody have any idea on this one? Help me interpret this one. Why would Spirit show me this? What do you think? And it's not because we're going into the year of the snake. It's something else. I believe it's showing us a new American Revolution is on our doorsteps. That's what I think it's showing us. I think Spirit would show me beings that happened during the American Revolution. I feel like that's going to likely be a sign that there's going to be a new American Revolution on our doorsteps. It would make the most sense. Should be interesting to see how this year of the snake plays out. No doubt America's heading into conflict in the near future. An unfortunate thing, but unfortunately certain. White hats versus the black hats. By now you're aware, right, that the so-called Zuckerberg turnaround that they're telling us is happening. You remember, he did away with the fact-checking. It's because he got caught. That's why, friends. He got caught. Which actually now has folks believing that Zuck actually took off his black hat and exchanged it and turned it in for a white one. Believe what you will, friends. But friends, They will lie their way right out of everything they can. They'll lie their way out of a 100-foot deep hole if they could, if they needed to. His reputation was on the line. With Rogan especially. Being on Rogan, oh yeah. And likely, being he may have some type of narcissistic traits, he's going to want to be liked. People that are narcissists, they want to be liked. They want you to like them. If they have to lie their way out of it to make you like them. And he discovered that the country and the world does not like him. They're putting him along with Gates and the rest of the crew, Bezos and the rest of them. And what I believe happened, because this all happened after his little meeting with DT. I think DT said, I'm going to lock you up. I'm going to send that's what I think. I have no doubt, actually, that's what happened, because he all of a sudden did that. I think DT gave him an ultimatum. You're going to do this or not. So he's just kissing butt is what Zuck's doing. He would want, again, to be liked. By now, he knows that wasn't the case for the majority of the world. So yeah, of course. And friends, this is the same guy who sued the indigenous people of Hawaii so that he could steal their land and build a state-of-the-art underground bunker with a submarine and more defense than our own military. Why would you need all that? Why? You planning for something to happen on the planet Earth soon? Sorry, but folks who do sinister things like that, that's very sinister and evil if you ask me. Just take away the native people's lands and sue them for it because you got money and you can win. Not cool. The color of that hat might appear to be that. It's just an illusion. It's a Houdini illusion, friends. You might think he changed into the white hat, but it's an illusion. Don't fall for their dark magic. Don't fall for it. And it is sad, but true, that many people, especially men, for whatever reason, like to lie. A lot. A lot of them do. And all politicians do. And look at most of the politicians are all men. So think about this, hypothetically thinking, of course. Perhaps, what if men lied so bad that Adam and Eve, actually lied? And Adam was actually the one who bit the apple, and instead blamed Eve. And that's why now men happen to have an apple in their throat. An Adam's apple. Something to think about. The earth is shifting and shaking, baby. Shifting and shaking. And this past week, there were some semi-significant earthquakes that hit in the red. Oh, I should have brought that up and bring that up because I forget what the other ones were. I forgot what the other ones were. But I do know that our friends in Japan just had a 6.8, I believe it was. I'll tell you in just a second. Our friends in Japan just had a 6.8 right down there at the very southern tip of Japan in the area that I pointed to and warned not that long ago. Now, on the USGS, the ones that appear in red are the ones that are significant. The other one that just happened was down there below California in Mexico, Aquila, Mexico to be exact. And then the third one in red, it might not be on here anymore. There it is. Was up there in China. And we talked about China a week ago. Yeah, I think it was last week. And how they had 11 earthquakes in one spot. I remember I said that, Asia, especially China, is going to have major shifts in the plates beneath it. Big old shakers that are going to be happening up there to the folks in China. And who else? There was Ethiopia. And that's not on my list for some reason, but I saw an article about it. And I saw pictures that I can't show you because they're Getty images, and you're not allowed to, unless you pay them a ridiculous amount of money. The cracks in the road. I remember I saw visions years ago of the whole continent of Africa splitting in half and separating. Interesting enough. Well, they had a nice shaker in Ethiopia. I will go into much more details with, again, earthquakes and weather within the next week or so when I do a 2025 weather video. I just have not had the time, but I will have one out likely next week at some point in time. And now I want to take you on an adventure into the underground. A few years ago, I did a very thorough video. I'll leave a link down below in the description or one that'll pop up here eventually. It was more like a documentary that was titled Billionaire Bunkers and Safe Zones. The main point of this video, and I probably should have titled it something different, the main point of this video was to address the prophecies and the different maps that have been channeled through, allegedly channeled through, by different people. One supposedly, allegedly, a Navy map. And these maps appear to show the Earth after the huge Earth shift is complete. And, lots of things go underwater and new things come out of the water. So this is approaching, friends, much sooner than you're going to really want to know and imagine. And I also took you into the world of the underground in that same video. Underground bunkers and even underground city up there in the Ozark Mountains of United States. Showed you that one. Being built and stocked up completely by the global elite and governments. But why exactly? Because I know I don't have a golden ticket to get into that underground city, and I'm sure you probably don't either. It's all about the earth shift, friends. They know this. They know this, and they know very well that it's coming. And they are preparing, and they are praying to their demons and their demonic forces that we don't find out about it. Because if we find out about it and the whole world knows it's coming, it's going to make things change very quickly. It would probably cause civil unrest, of course, because people, some people, any excuse they have to go out and steal from others and damage property, they'll utilize it. So they're praying to their demons, and hopefully they don't want us to find out. They don't want us to awaken, and they definitely don't want us to take our power back before they are able to retreat into those bunkers in cities. So check out this video here of this subtropolis hidden city. I thought this was pretty fascinating, actually. Even better than the one I showed you in the Ozark Mountains. Check it out.
Large working city operating deep underground as we go about our lives on the surface above. It's real, and it's right here in the United States.
Subtropolis. Decades ago, limestone was mined here for concrete and asphalt. What's left is space. A lot of space.
Okay, so what's down here right now? We have 6 million square feet of buildings leased to 55 companies. There's 1,700 employees that run around here and go to work every day.
It's a massive industrial park, all underground.
Do you ever worry, like the world could come to an end upstairs, and you guys would just be down here toiling away, right? I feel like Fort Knox there.
Security is a big selling point. Subtropolis is basically disaster-proof. Another selling point? Subtropolis is always 65 degrees. Always. What better place, then, to put a room full of computer servers? There's a lot of cool stuff in Subtropolis, especially in a company called Underground Vaults and Storage.
What are you going to show us? We're going to show you Hollywood, right behind these doors.
Inside, aisle upon aisle of TV and movie treasures, sent here by the studios for safekeeping. From the National Archives to food distributor Harris Brothers, the occupants of Subtropolis praise the predictability of doing business in a place where the sun never shines nor sets.
Another thing I wanted to show you is one of the predictions I made back in November. Back in November, in the November forecast, which is put out the very end of October 31st, I think it was put out on Halloween, maybe even on the 30th. In that video, I talked about being prepared to keep your eye to the skies for some major activity that was going to happen. And we all know what came ringing in, especially in early December. But it all actually did start in November. Check out this prediction from November's forecast. Be a ton of activity, not just in November, but also moving into the month of December when it comes to UFO phenomena and more intense sun flares igniting geomagnetic storms and other really wild sky events. This includes new sightings and discoveries in our skies, and something big is coming revolved around the moon. I don't know what, but the moon. Another thing I discovered is I always take notes on my computer. Like sometimes I'll get visions or predictions and I'll run onto my computer and I'll type it in, or somebody will tell me about a news event that happened or send me a link and I'll hurry up and go and put it in my notes. And sometimes I forget to delete things in those notes because it's just, my notepad on my computer. And I found this on my notepad. And maybe one of y'all can help to figure out when I said this, because I don't remember. But I said in my notes, which means I said it somewhere in past videos, great fires in cities. I see fires, cities on fire. I see Mountain Dew attacks to the north, and I don't know where to the north, because again, I don't know when I did this. Volcanic eruptions and magma coming to the surface, creating massive fires. Interesting. Could there be some lava activity beneath California? I doubt it. There could be, but I doubt that was the cause. And I remember Spirit telling us that Yellowstone was going to be shut down and blocked from access. So this is old notes. Also in these old notes, I said BRICS will take over the dollar collapse. Japan joins BRICS. Middle East and many other countries. A new currency comes to North America. A brilliant new form of currency that begins to spread. By 2030, BRICS begins to fall to a new currency in place. Yeah, the digital crap, probably. And then I also said in those same notes, New York City explosion in a tall building. I'm pretty sure that's the Empire State Building. So I just found those old notes and thought maybe I have to find that video, because in that video I might have even mentioned LA specifically, because we warned LA about many things over the past year, 2 years. Now I also see a vision of wildfires hitting Texas, especially down near the border, the southern border of Mexico. They may even be fires Mexico is going to be having major fires as well. And then also New Jersey, our friends in New Jersey. I see big fires in Jersey. And I also see a fire at the boardwalk in Jersey. A building on the boardwalk. It's not the whole boardwalk. It's not an inferno, but it is a fire on the boardwalk in Jersey, probably Seaside Heights. And as far as the fire, I feel like it's closer to the upper northern parts of Jersey. Probably the New Jersey Pinelands, because when they go up, boy, oh boy. So be safe out there. And if you're in any of those areas, always be prepared. And when they start canceling your policy, you might want to just reconsider. They did that to some people in this neighborhood, which is pretty creepy to me. But I know I'm safe, so I'm personally not worried about it. I told you I'm going to paint the house blue, too, just in case. A couple other predictions for you for today's show. Oh, I saw this quote. I thought this was really good. I would rather adjust my life to your absence than adjust my boundaries to your disrespect. I really like that. I would rather adjust my life to your absence than adjust my boundaries to your disrespect. Biatch. Oh, lordy, lordy. So I see really, really severe droughts that are coming. Severe droughts, dry farms, especially towards the continent of Asia, Africa. But up in Asia, for some reason, like China, India, severe, severe droughts. Like nothing's growing. There's no water. That's not good, especially for those people. And there's manipulation going on. Spirit just whispered in my ear. I also see, and this just happened in Taiwan, where they cut their internet cable. Yeah, cut their internet cable in Taiwan. And that cable also heads to the west coast of the United States. And I see something going on with the cables coming in to the United States and other countries. And likely that's going to be China, because they're the ones that did it to Taiwan. One of their shipping boats or something. And they drug their anchor. And they did that on purpose. Of course they did that on purpose. I also see a vision of the internet being shut down. I see the internet going out. And I don't know if it's all this year again, but these are the visions I had just recently. The internet going down, and I see a major power outages happening in the United States. Major power outages. And power outages that last for multiple periods, like long days, several days. And, I had this vision of DT with tears in his eyes. And I don't know what that was. And to me in the vision, it was like I was watching a news broadcast. And they just happened to catch that. with the tears in his eyes. And to me, it was tears, obviously, of sadness because of something major. I don't know what it is, but it's caught on film. You know, it's not that he wants people to see, but it's kind of caught on film. So I don't know what that's in regards to. I'm not sure. Not sure at all. But overall, friends, got to get this uploaded. Got to get this going. I will have more content. I am working on several videos in my notes anyway. One about the prophecies of No Eyes. That's one you're really going to want to see. I'm not sure which one I'm putting out first. The 3 Days of Darkness, the No Eyes prophecies, the prophecy of the true white brother, the Brahma. I'm not sure. One of them. And then also channeled predictions. So please keep your eyes out. And if you want to vibe with this tribe, be sure to smash that subscribe, the bell, and all so that you get notifications. And thank you for showing your love and support by clicking that thumbs up love button. And to all those members of the community down below and the members of the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community and all the contributors that make this free content possible for everybody else, I thank you with infinite love and gratitude. Oh, 2 other things I forgot. 2 other things. First, my friend Maki in Japan sent me some stuff. And I don't have it all here in front of me. But I do have these. I have a couple. She sent me these snacks. Oh, my God. I don't know what they were, but I ate the whole package, Maki. Ate the whole entire package. I did. I also have... Oh, I think I showed you this last week. Or maybe I didn't. The With Sympathy card from Carolyn R. in Redwood City, California. I hope you're safe out there in California. And thank you for the 20 spot that you tucked into this. Love in time. May they soften your sorrow and bring you peace. So sorry to hear about your pop and losing your dog in the same year. And my friend Susie, too. 2025 will bring you a year with love and gratitude. Caroline. Thank you, Caroline, with so much gratitude. I don't think I showed that last time we opened up mail. Did I open this one before? Yeah, from England. I did do that one. I remember that one. And then there was this one. Deepest sympathies. Oh, from England. Yeah, we did those ones last week. But I did not do Maki. Look at this. This is from Maki from Japan. And these I already ate most of them. Inside are these little cakes that are, I don't know what they are because I can't read the box. Man, these things are so good. Everything Maki sends me is so good and so amazing. And look at this artwork first. Look at the amazing Japanese card. That's just gorgeous. Always sends me gorgeous cards. I actually have one sitting on my kitchen window because I like it with the samurai dude. And in the card, Maki says, Dear Spiritman Joseph Tittel, season's greetings, but best wishes for the new year. Have a very nice Christmas and a very happy new year, Maki. Maki, you are awesome, and these are delicious. But look, Maki's an artiste. Oh, Merry Christmas to you and your family. This time I'm sending you one of my works of paper cutting art. I don't use a knife. I only use scissors. So maybe it's called paper cutout art. This cutout picture shows the 5 Stara Pagoda and Mako girls in Kyoto. This art is just one of my hobbies, as well as the sandblasting. Yeah, Maki made me this amazing samurai plate and vase, and wait until you see this artwork. Is amazing. Did this with scissors, friends. With scissors. Check this out. That is freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can take it out of here now, actually. I gotta find a place to hang this. That is just awesome. Look at how amazing that artwork is. Cutout work. With scissors. Like, how do you do that? That's so amazing. Not a knife, with scissors. Maki, I greatly appreciate you. Someone sent me a supplement, too. I'm not going to show you because I don't know who sent it to me. But someone sent me a supplement. So thank you for that. But I don't know who sent it. And if it was the company, I definitely can't show it. Other than that, Friends, thank you so much with infinite love and gratitude. I am so forever grateful. I'm going to leave you with that, and I will definitely see you in the future. Until then, friends, remember to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine. And get out there and rock it out. And have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Much love, friends. Much love.